Hello YouTube, I wanted to show off my Arcade1Up Street Fighter cabinet that I just finished modifying. I do want to thank ETA Prime for showing us how easy it is to do this modification. I do recommend researching the right LCD controller board for your system. Verify that it's compatible with your monitor. My first monitor ended up frying. It all started at the beginning of the project. My cables weren't long enough to mount to the wood, and I couldn't figure out why. Long story short, I ended up, I don't know if it was the wrong controller board or if I fried my monitor, but I ended up green wavy lines, changed out the HDMI cable, thinking that was it. Next thing you know, I turned it on, I had a white screen and had audio, but no video. Everything was just white. So I ended up having to find a replacement monitor. So research, and prepare. Watch a lot of videos. I recommend RetroPower. He helped me a lot with just showing the steps on how to go through the modification. The coin buttons, I followed his guide with using the painter's tape on the finish side and a board on the backing. When you drill those holes, it really helps keep the finish looking nice. I did follow his measurements also, and I really like the location of the coin buttons. Alright, let's turn it around and show you the back. Okay, so here we go. Here's the back. Here, let me turn on the light. I got one of these stick-up lights put on the back panel to kind of help brighten up the area, light it up when I have to come back here and make any changes. Again, it's basically a copy of ETA Prime's setup with the RetroPie. Got the LCD controller, and it's a settings board. They're double taped on there. The RetroPie got it in its case, and I do have it velcroed on so I can access the flash drive SD card so that I can change the image if I want, or do whatever I need to do. Most of the cable management is a double-sided Velcro tape, and then I have some pieces of heavy-duty tape stuck to the sides of the panel, and again up front, just kind of help with the cable management. I do have the Logitech Z313 subwoofer and speakers in the bottom. Right now I just have them sitting in there. I haven't decided if I want to keep those or do something different, but if I do keep them, I'll probably end up velcroing them down just to the base, just so they don't slide around when I move the cabinet around. And I do have a Belkin power strip. I really like this one. I mounted it to the side, and so the cord just comes out at the very bottom, and I got my on-off switch easy to get to on the side. I did cut a notch out on the back panel, which was pretty easy. The hacksaw, you can just see a little corner cut out here. That was pretty easy to do. And yeah, the only thing else, maybe some LED lights. Just haven't decided yet. I did originally on these LED power cables for the buttons. I originally had electrical tape wrapped around them, but I noticed it wasn't really sticking very well. So I got some shrink wrap, which I think I had purchased that at Harbor Freight in the past, and cut those to size, put those over the connections, and just shrunk them down. I think that works a lot better longer term. I didn't mount the USB encoders simply because if I want to take the control deck off, I still can. I do have to remove the cables for the coin buttons to really pull it off, but that gives me some leeway to, if I have to access the control panel for some reason. One interesting thing to note, when I was working on Daphne, my controls were backwards. Down was up was down, left and right were reversed. And I fought with that for a while through the configs. Everybody knows that the button configuration can be a little tricky with Daphne, but I ended up having to pull the covers off here of the controllers and flipping my micro switches 180 degrees on both joysticks. Once I did that, it solved the problem. Everything worked in Daphne, and then RetroPie was able to set up and keep the controls the same way. So that's about it. Let me know what you think. So real quick, I wanted to show you a couple of things. Here's that roll of Velcro tape I use for the wire management. Here's the heavy duty tape. Got this at my local home improvement store. Stuff works excellent, holds everything. And here's a simple file I used for that top panel that my speaker controllers are mounted to. I didn't want to drill a hole, so I just took off some of the excess from the back and didn't touch the top finish, so I really liked using that. And of course, step bits. I got these at Harbor Freight. One thing to note is there isn't an exact size. This one's a little too big for your buttons, and I don't even know if this one will work for the smaller coin buttons. So the only trick with this that I came across was that if your panel is too thick, which the top panel would be too thick, you'd kind of have to drill from both sides. The front panel, I was afraid of making the hole too big, so I still had to drill a little bit from the back side just to get the button through. But if you follow RetroPower's advice and use the painter tape on the front, and he uses the backing board, I also used a backing board on the back of my drill surface, clamped it down, and worked like a champ. Really helped keep the finish on both sides looking pretty nice. Yeah, my next project is Pac-Man here. I want to use it for the vertical arcade games. I'm still trying to determine whether I can still use the stock joystick or not. If anybody knows, let me know if I can use that with the USB encoders. I want to keep these buttons. I don't want to do anything on the top. I don't want to drill any holes. I want to keep the cover. And so I like to just use those and maybe add, I think, 2 buttons down here, start and select, and then have an A and a B. Let me know what you think, if you have any advice or feedback on this. I did see Retro Ralph drilled 3 more holes, so I had 3 buttons and a joystick over here. I'm not sure I want to do that. I do like his setup, but I'm not sure I want to drill the holes because I want to be able to keep the plastic cover over the artwork. Now let me show you the image on Street Fighter. So I'm running on the 32 gigabyte arcade only Wolfenose image, but this one's actually a little different. It's the Arcade1Up Ready 5.4 ratio. That was edited by Level 1 Online. I did modify a couple of the loading screens. You'll see that here. But overall, it's a really good image. I highly recommend it. They've already removed the bezel project and made everything fit nice on the Arcade1Up screen. Once it loads, I'll show you some of it. But yeah, go check out Level 1 Online. He talks about the image, goes through all the features. It's really nice. Show you a little bit of the loading screens. I'll just pick something quick here to load. Again, that's my modified loading screen. And I have my controls here. Speakers, so I can crank it out. Get the idea. So that's it. Yeah. Let me know what you think.